very well, actually. How are you?
I'm good, thank you.
Good. Hello to everyone joining us for episode 19 of Measure of Marketing, all about how to build your messaging.
We have Dolly, is it, in the background?
Dolly's in the background barking, and the cat's a little bit scared just down by my feet, but all should be well. For anyone who doesn't know, this is Dolly the Bulldog, who is my marketing executive. So, yeah.
So, how to build your messaging. This is another big topic as well, isn't it? I was just saying what my opening statement is going to be on this episode.
You've forgotten it?
No, I'm just going to say, probably not in the same way as I said it off record. So I always work on the basis of, we can have a marketing strategy, you can have a marketing plan, you can post on social media as much as you want to, but the most important thing out of anything that you're going to do in marketing is going to be your messaging. And doing some research on how your messaging lands, I think, is super important as well to do. And I've kind of trialed and tested that in the last couple of years myself as a business owner. I've got a membership where I teach people how to do marketing, and I've recently just changed the name of it purely down to a few people being like, what is it? And I'm like, I get asked this quite a bit. Something's not right here. It's not clear on what's this. So I've reviewed it all, not changed it all, tweaked it slightly, because we don't want to change everything in one go, because we don't know what's working and what's not then. But yeah, I just changed the name of something after listening and after a period of time and after doing a little bit of research on it. So yes, that's my opening thoughts on messaging.
So I part agree with what you're saying, or I fully agree, but I would add in that the messaging is important, because what you're doing is tapping into your audience's challenges or their problems.
Yeah.
And you're ensuring that your messaging aligns with how you're offering or how your service or product is going to help solve those problems. And I think it's very quick and easy to put yourself out there and say what you do, and to say how you work with people or what your product does. And this is this kind of difference between the what and the why, and the kind of the features or outcomes orientated approach to messaging, in that you're not going to resonate with your customers if you don't explain how your product helps them, what it does to solve their problems, or how your service helps them overcome their challenges. Just by saying, I do marketing consultancy, well, that's great, that tells me what I do, but it doesn't necessarily show, well, how does that help someone? It helps them, I give them direction, it helps them get a steer as to where they want to go, provide them with that broader picture, bigger perspective. I'm helping them. And I think people fall in that trap when they try and do their marketing. They don't necessarily see it in the way they should.
Yes, yeah, definitely. I often talk about the A to B, but the bit in between is often what is missed. So if we go one step further than that, even if you identify the problems that your customer is facing, or they say that they face, one thing for me is often they think that they have a big macro problem. They'll come to you with a problem. We'll probably experience this more as marketing consultants. So they'll often come and say, maybe it's around, I should be posting more on social media, I need some help with that, I need someone to post on social media for me. But actually what the problem is something else, or it can be a number of micro problems. So to really pay attention and again do that research on what it is that they're saying versus what it is that they are actually experiencing, for them to say that is important. But often I see marketing messages where they'll say, you might feel like this, or you're experiencing this, and often I will go, yeah, like I see that, I relate to that, and I'm going to help you to do this. So often I'm going to help you to 10x your business. Like, great, like, yeah, I'm up for that. but how are we gonna, what's the bit in between? That's the bit that I feel makes people scared, and then they don't go to buy unless you're quite a not risky purchaser, but someone who might spend quickly. That A to B, you feel like this, I'm going to help you to get here. Tell me how I'm going to do it in between. Like, what's that going to look like? How are we going to work together? What does that process look like? I often find that a lot of the people that I talk to, when we're doing marketing, they want to know that bit in between as well. It might depend on what your services are, what industry you're in, but that's the bit that I try and work on in terms of problem resolve, what the transformation in the middle.
Do you find then that bit in the middle, actually when we're focusing on messaging, that bit in the middle is helped by content-led messaging, so content marketing, as well as the brand-led messaging? Because I often find that people have the customer-facing proposition, they have that what we would call brand-led messaging, as in it's the tagline, or to have that kind of few paras that explains why they help people, but it's then tapping into with the content and including that messaging so that you help people get from the A to B, that middle bit. And I think people forget that and don't see the value in content marketing, because actually you're having to keep that clear, consistent messaging throughout everything that you do, and more so with content marketing as a strategy for people to be able to really resonate with how you help them. It's not just the odd social post or what's on your website. It goes deeper than that, doesn't it? It goes further.
Yeah, I think messaging is very much dependent on the platform, isn't it? And like what you are trying to deliver. Like, my head just went straight through to those, those long landing pages. I think we've talked about this before, but like, don't even, like, the ones that you don't read, and then they've got a bunch of testimonials and videos and all of the stuff and buy buttons all the way through it. Like, for me, that isn't messaging. It's but a landing page, if there is one example, if you was to do what I've just mentioned about I see your problem, I'm going to get you here, and this is how we're going to do it. A landing page is the perfect place to do that, right? With the option to sign up or sign in, buy, whatever within it. So there's that one opportunity to do it. But if you step back from that on a bigger scale, your whole marketing plan, like you just said, with all of your content, helps you to achieve that as well, doesn't it? That transformation in between. So again, like, micro opportunity, step back, and you've got this macro, and that's what your strategy basically is, and what your marketing plan is. That's how my head visualizes it and would work. Like, do all of your touch points help people to understand that you get them, where you're going to get them to, but how you're going to do it?
And I think we always chat about the consistency of marketing when it comes to messaging, and that journey that people are on as a buyer, which is, it's slightly different when you're doing business to consumer or business to business, but there's still an approach of that kind of the attraction, consideration, the journey, so that you get to that point of purchase. You're not going to go and buy a television without researching more about what's the best brand, what's the best picture it's going to give you, has it got Freeview in it, all of that kind of thing. And that's where your website and your content and everything else would come into play. And I think people forget that the messaging takes people on a journey across all those touch points, and that integration is so important, that once you've nailed that basic customer proposition within your marketing strategy, and when I say customer facing proposition, it's almost the few paras that summarize exactly why you help them, how you help them, and at the end of it, what problems do you solve? And you build on that, don't you, within every touch point, from a landing page through to a blog post through to a social post. And I think it's you're really doing yourself a disservice if you don't maintain that level of messaging across everything. And that's the bit I love about marketing, is that you're taking all these little pieces, and it's a big jigsaw puzzle that has to all fit. You can't start slamming in a puzzle piece just because it should fit there. It doesn't work.
Exactly, yeah. I often call it, so I work, one of my clients, we call it a methodology. So this value proposition it's basically that framework that I've just mentioned, the A to B, the bit in the middle. That's like, we call it the methodology. So how do you work with people? Like, if you was to stand up in a room and you said you had like 30 seconds to say quickly who you work with, what you do, that kind of thing, it should be
elevator pitch.
Yeah, a little bit, yeah. And then you can build on it in different ways for different platforms or for different opportunities, or yes, pad it out for the landing page.
For anyone listening, the cat is mounted on my desk and we have a tail on camera, so anything could happen from here. As you were.
I actually found this really helpful. It's not mine, it's somebody else's, but everyone's doing the same thing in my head. We just position it in different ways. It's a lady called Anna Rumbold, who, like, she's great. I think her services is messaging, like really nailing people's messaging. And I always kept a note of it, particularly when I first started out by myself. She goes through why, how, and what, and it's on my planner under my value proposition title, but she says to write it in this way: why are you the best expert to work with a client on this, whatever this is? This is the point where you don't be humble, as in you're saying everything that you do and what you do, why you're the best. How can the client create this result with you? Why does each part of your process aid transformation? And then what is the tangible outcome to the results that your client desires right now? And then in brackets, more of something isn't tangible. So not more confidence or more clarity or something generic. It has to be really specific. I've always kept that in my head, that like, and it might not be in that structure, as in the why doesn't come first, that might come last. But yeah, the why, how, and the what is one message framework that I think works really well.
Yeah, I like that. I do. I think for me, it's very much about, it's almost like a call and answer kind of thing for me. With the messaging, it's almost like, do you struggle to communicate your offering, effectively communicate your offering? Do you want to know how to do it better? And then it's almost like, I can help you do that by X, Y, and Z. It's almost putting it across as to, okay, well, why should you invest in a marketing consultant? Or why should you buy this particular learning design package for your website, or your brand design package for your website? It's really tapping into the why, because that's the question we always ask, isn't it? If you think about it in life, we're always saying, but why should I do that? Or why should I buy this? Or why that one? As humans, there's almost, I think people see marketing as this kind of brainwashing kind of thing. And I've blogged on it before, that it's almost forcing people, the funneling and forcing people into making a purchase. And it's not, it's actually providing them with all the information they need effectively to make a decision. And the way that you do that is to tap into the psychology of us, of always saying, look, why should I do this? Or why would I want that? And answering that question in different ways, and in an integrated and structured fashion. And I think that the messaging is the glue for all of that, really. And that why.
Yeah. Have you heard of Russell Brunstone? I think that's his name. He's a sales guy.
No, don't know that
name. His first name is definitely Russell. I really like him, right? So I see him all the time on social media. He's like super high paid, but he does these like free workshops on sales. Anyway, I've been watching him quite a lot on YouTube recently. And one of the things that he said to me, well, no, he didn't say it to me.
Love this. He said it to, but how good is his marketing that he is just focusing on that one person, right? Just on you, that little moment.
He did, because I took action based off what he said.
Ian Russ.
You know when, so I worded, I paid thousands of pounds to hear this. So he said to me, your landing pages, Kelly, some of your pages on your website, I would often talk like very direct about, you feel like this, or really like tapping into the problem. You feel like very scatty with your marketing, or yeah, you get the point. Like I know people feel scatty with their marketing, but sometimes you don't have to be that direct about it. Do you know when you talk to someone's problems too intensely, it makes them feel bad? This is basically what he says.
Yeah, and overwhelmed by it.
Yeah, so you're basically saying that I'm shite, is what I'm reading here. I already feel bad about my marketing, and now I'm reading this. I know you know marketing, but now I feel worse about mine. Rather than talking that way, talk about the opportunity that you can provide to them instead. So I think sometimes when we say talk to people's pain points, we can talk to them a bit too directly. So I then used ChatGPT and was like, okay, this is my messaging. I want to talk in this way. I want to talk about the opportunity that I can provide to people, or the opportunity that my clients have to learn marketing, be more confident in it. And it gave me some really great examples and really like structured response on, instead of wording it this way, word it this way. So it's I recognize you, but it's a positive, more of a positive opportunity spin on it. So people can feel like, okay, I can see how I can feel different by signing up and working with this person. I think that's a really key point in messaging as well, not making people feel bad about the gaps that they might have in their knowledge, or depending on what service you offer.
Exactly. And I think it can come across in messaging as, you don't want to be patronizing at the end of the day. You don't want someone to, and you wouldn't do that if you were selling them a pen, or if you were wanting them to buy your skincare. You're not going to say, your face looks like crap, you need this cleanser. You know, that's not going to, it's not going to work, is it? Without this cleanser, you're going to continue looking crap. Okay. I think it's just talking their language. And again, this is all about, you know, research into your audience. And we spoke about personas before in a previous episode, of really understanding who your audience is, and how to talk to them and use the right messaging and use the right language. And it's not about making them feel bad. It's about energizing them. And maybe this is the brainwashing part that people say, but it's about making them energized into wanting to make the decision to work, or to buy, or to commit to a particular sale. And it's different to sales. Marketing is all about the foundations and the right messaging, so that people get the information they need to make a decision. And it's sales that closes that, you know. And I don't claim to be an expert in sales, but in terms of the marketing, it is about providing them with enough information in a consistent and integrated way through the messaging, so that they can make a decision. And that's what it boils down to. So why wouldn't you tap into their problems or their challenges and how you help solve them, versus just saying what it is that your product does? Because that's not going to make them feel any better. That's going to confuse them all the more. So I think you've got to be smart with it. As you say, you're not wanting people to feel worse about their problems, or
and I think as well, like, if you take us as an example, saying what you do in marketing, like there's a whole list. Like, it's not a CV. You're not presenting your CV to somebody to get to work with them, because that's not going to hit them. Like, great, you've got a whole load of experience, and you can do all of these elements in marketing, but how's that going to help me? Like, I've got this specific thing I need dealing with. Can you do that? And what's that going to feel like for me after, and what results will it bring to me? Because essentially that's like what everyone wants, no matter what they're buying. They want something different. That's you've got to let them know how they're going to get that, and what that's going to feel like, and how they're going to feel at the end of it.
And there are so many, it's cutting through the noise as well, isn't it? That there's so many services or products out there that do a similar thing. It's like a gardener in your local area. You know what a gardener does, but why would one gardener influence you more than another? And there'll be personal reasons why you choose one gardener over another. But if you've got one that actually says, I will keep your lawn looking healthy, so you don't have to every month do X, Y, or Z, or I will pull up all the weeds for you so your garden looks plentiful and flourishing, so you don't have to hurt your back in the process. Boom, I'm in. Like, you've solved my problem, right? And it's finding those key points to tap into that is almost a breath of fresh air. If you can do that, you know, you're not making someone feel bad, you're making them feel excited about why they are the perfect person to work with or to buy their product. Or
nice I like that.
My gardener, you are
very good at gardening messaging.
Me, gardener. I've never worked with a gardener or a landscaper, but you know, if there's any inquiries, you know,
I am. Hayley, if you're listening.
Oh, God. If you saw my garden, I probably am not the best marketing consultant to collaborate with if you saw it, because with a bulldog, you can't have any flowers or any plants. Because
nor you can do with a cat.
Nor with a cat, no, because she will eat them. So yes, my garden is there's a few pots, but it's mainly lawn and crazy paving.
So our episode 20 is actually a power hour. So we're just opening up the next episode to questions. So I wanted to say, if anyone has any specific questions on messaging, or maybe give us your messaging and we can, if you're a gardener, Hayley will read for you.
Put me in. But, thanks, Kelly. Thanks a lot.
Wherever you're listening, comment below, or you can find us on LinkedIn as well. We have a Measure of Marketing podcast page, and send us a note in whatever format, and we will answer your question in episode 20, which will be quite exciting. I like doing.
It's quite different, not having a key theme. So yeah, that'd be good. And also, in honour of Drew last week, who said we have to be confident with it, please do like and subscribe to help us get found on YouTube and Spotify, because it really does help. And we're wanting to grow this to reach as many small business owners and other marketers as we can. So your help would be appreciated.
Amazing.
Thanks, Kelly.
See you in the next episode.
See you soon. Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.